Hello, 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 friends. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this podcast is going to be March 1st, and I'm going to be starting a series on cult coaching, scammer coaches, business coaches that have no business being business coaches. We're spilling some tea here. I think that it's not just about spilling tea. These are discussions that need to be had because the industry, I'm a business coach, and at this point, business coaching is becoming one of the most difficult niches to be in because there's so much crap going on in the industry that people are terrified to invest in business coaching because they're afraid they're going to get scammed. And quite frankly, I don't blame them. There's lots going on. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing my experience hiring a cult coach. I've talked about it in the past. There are some episodes in season 1 where I talked about it. I'm going to recount my tales and just kind of give my thoughts. And like I said, I think that this is important. But before I dive straight in, I have to tell you guys this story. So my daughter is 5. And last week she was invited to a birthday party at a hotel. So it was a pool party at a hotel. And first of all, friends, it was complete chaos. It was absolute chaos, but that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is, so she was invited, but this kid in her class has an older brother who's friends with my oldest son. So we ended up all being invited as a family. My husband and I were the only ones to bring swimsuits. We were like, sweet, let's go swimming. This is fun. It's the dead of winter. Of course we want to go swimming. So we get there where we walk into the pool area and there's a hot tub. And my daughter's like, yeah, let's go to the hot tub. And so, oh my goodness, you guys, we go over to the hot tub. First of all, it is covered in foam, which means it is filthy. But there are little girls in the hot tub because they double booked the pool party. So there's these little girls, they're probably 6 or 7, and they're in the hot tub. And one of them is sitting right on the top step. Now, obviously, you walk into the hot tub, and then there's also a ring inside the hot tub that you sit in. That's the point of a hot tub, is to sit down, right? So this little girl sitting right on the top step. I can't see the step. I know she's sitting on it. I can't see it. So I go in, I put my foot in by her, not right beside her, but by her, thinking there's got to be a step here. I'm sure you can see where this is going. So yeah, just my heel catches part of the step. This little girl's blocking the entire step. I had no idea. So catch my heel, slow motion, fall into this hot tub. I'm yelping, I'm gasping, like I said, it's slow motion. I hit my butt, my left side and the right side of my butt on the steps. I hit my back, I hit my toe. I thought I was gonna rip my fingernail off. I'm just trying to catch onto something. Of course, I'm just falling straight into the middle of the hot tub. So there's nothing to grab onto. I'm under, tits up in the rhubarb. I compose myself. I turn around. I look at the girls and I'm like, are you girls okay? Did I hurt you? This little girl is sitting on the step. The look of disgust. I've never experienced so much judgment in my life. She's just glaring at me. Her face is still haunting my life. It's a week later. I still think about this little girl just looking at me being like, ugh, this woman. So I'm sure lots of parents saw that happen. Lots of hotel guests probably heard me and witnessed this. No one came to my aid. I'm so embarrassed. My husband completely missed it. And when I told him, he was like, I really wish I saw that. And you know what? Frankly, I don't blame him. I wish that someone had it on camera because I would love to see it. So like, oh my goodness, friends, like, why does this happen to me? I never fall. But anyway, I had to tell this story because it's haunting my life. Okay. Let's talk about cult coaching. So when I first got onto the entrepreneurship scene, the personal development scene, I was already in finance and I was looking to do like personal development like we do. I feel like that's kind of how everyone starts, right? You start in personal development, you start reading the personal development books, and then they start developing into business books. And the next thing you know, you're working on your mindset before you start a business. And so I get referred to this coach, and like, okay, there's lots of shady shit happening in this industry. We're going to talk about life coach school. We're going to talk about 200K. We're going to talk about Melanie Ann Layer. We're going to talk about Exo Gingy, also known as Stephanie Hewson. I get involved in it was called Unstoppable Influence. And hopefully she doesn't come and sue me, but she was a lawyer and she she did not mind throwing around the fact that she was a lawyer, but you know, she was recommended, her program was recommended. And like, these are the things that you need to watch out for, friends. So I invested in a 3-week program with her, and like right out of the gate, and this comes from Russell Brunson. And like the way Russell Brunson runs Funnel Hackers is extremely cult-like. I even went to Funnel Hacking Live. I'll do another episode on my experience in Funnel Hacking Live, but it is a cult to be in these circles. So one of the things that Russell Brunson teaches is that you name your programs in such a way that people can identify with one another. And so for funnel hacking, you're funnel hackers. And if you say funnel hacker, like if you know, you know. If you get it, you get it. And if you don't, then you're not in the know, right? And so this was very similar. You know, she worked very closely with him. And we were unstoppable influencers. And so it started off with taking selfies every time she ran her 3-week challenge and using the hashtag so we could build brand awareness, which is smart, honestly. The marketing is genius. But what's going on inside is less genius. So after you do the 3 weeks, and I don't even know if people are still kind of running this type of model, but you do the 3 weeks and then they upsell you into a lifetime access, but what would usually just take you 12-week program course. And it's on demand, but here's another red flag, friends. You're not allowed to go ahead in the program. You have to follow it. Class 1, come to the coaching calls, share what you did in the class, like your homework, and then get permission to move on. And honestly, this my way or the highway type of business coaching is problematic because what worked for her, I don't think it worked for anyone in that program. I stuck around for a lot longer than I should have. I ended up hanging around for like a year and a half. And I can, with full confidence, say that anyone that's ever gone through working with this person has not made money. The only people that are making money after going through it were making money before they went through it. But the marketing was geared at people who did not have businesses yet, were not making money, didn't have clients. It was problematic in so many ways. Okay, so anyway, you join this 12-week program, you get lifetime access. I've been booted from my lifetime access on any of those things. But you get a quote unquote free ticket to an in-person event. And this free ticket to an in-person event, yeah, okay, it had some information, but it was basically like a 2-day selling party. Like just every time she was on stage, it was just pitch, pitch, pitch. very much the air of, and we'll talk about this too when we talk about Marie Forleo and Rachel Rogers, this air of I'm very, very important and you are very not important. And like, wouldn't really socialize much with us at the event, just kind of coming in at the last minute. Everyone's standing, applauding, lots of bumping music, security guards. This is like super like ego boosting, self-serving energy, which is fine. Like boost your own ego. We should. No one's going to boost our egos for us. You got to believe in yourself. But there's something to be said about this type of display that doesn't actually benefit anyone but the person putting the display on. And I'm going to talk about that in another episode because I have thoughts about all the hip hop dancing and backup dancers that some of these coaches are making their clients watch. But anyway, at this event, you're pitched at the whole time. And it's the lies, friends. It's the lies of, oh, this program is going to change your life. And oh, you're going to make 6 figures and then you're going to make 7 figures. And this is a multi-year mentorship, which I believe in multi-year mentorships. I do. Lots of my clients have been with me for years. I've been with the same mentor for years and I believe in it. But the way they pitch it in such a way that it's like, you can never really graduate out of it. And as you start going through it, this person kept her clients, kept us, kept me stuck on purpose. And I'll share more as I keep going through the timeline chronologically here. So you're at this event and she's up on stage and she's selling it. She's got program coaches and they're all there and they're selling it. And it's 5-figure investment and you can apply, but not everyone's going to get in. That's a lie. It's very selective, very exclusive. Only the best of the best who are sitting in that room will be accepted. And it really like lays on thick the academia part of ourselves where, if you are an entrepreneur, you are a perfectionist, probably. You are a high achiever. You were probably a straight A student. You were probably a teacher's pet. I'm definitely talking about myself here, but I know that I am not the only one who identifies with these things. And so when you say things and you're using this kind of corporate and academia language where you immediately think of, oh, I got to be the best of the best if I'm going to get this job. I've got to be the best of the best if I'm going to get this promotion. I've got to get straight A's. I've got to get the scholarships. I've got to get accepted into the right schools. It's just this like, you have to be the best. You have to apply. A panel of judges are going to judge you and then determine if they think you're good enough. And that's just like, it's awful. And I mean, we can have a whole other conversation about holding the integrity of the spaces you create. I actually wrote a piece about it this morning. It's Saturday, but I put out content every day. If you're following me on social media, you know that I'm putting out content every single day. So, you want to hold the integrity of your spaces 1,000,000%. If people are not a good fit, don't accept them anyway. But she was portraying this. We don't let everybody in. It's only exclusive for certain people. But then she let everybody in that applied. I know for a fact she let everybody in. And so, you'd go in, you'd sit down, you'd set an appointment. She had all these guys sitting in rooms. These guys were like loan sharks, basically. So you'd go in and you'd pitch yourself and you're crying because you so badly got sold on the vision, you got sold on the dream, you believe it, you're like, oh my goodness, which is great. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being sold on a vision and a dream and having aspirations in your heart and going after them. Go, run after them. I am cheering for you. But you go, you tell these guys one-on-one, there's like a big room, they're all sitting at these little tables. You're just spilling your guts, you're crying. And then they start going through your credit and helping you trying to figure out where you're going to get the money from. They're running credit checks. They're brokers. They're loan brokers. And some of the unfortunate things is I saw women in retirement pull their retirement 5 figures to invest in this. And do you know what? I did this how long ago? My daughter's 5. So this was probably like 6.5 years ago. And I'm going through this, and like this lady in particular that I'm thinking about, she's never made that money back. And that's awful. If you are selling people a vision, a promise that, in year 1, you should make this amount of money. Year 2, you should make that amount of money. Year 3, you should make this amount of money. And then you put them all into your program, and then you keep them stuck on purpose so they keep investing. That's a cult. That is toxic. That is abusive. That is not the shit that we want to be doing to people. And so, I did it. I got on the bandwagon. I drank the Kool-Aid. I was in there. I was doing the things. I called my husband. I'm crying. I'm like, oh, I know I told you I wasn't going to invest. I knew she was going to do this. I was like, but I have to. So we really went into problems. I mean, you guys know, if you've listened to past episodes, like I ended up selling pictures of my feet to a man I knew in real life because I was afraid that this woman, who is a lawyer, was going to sue me if I wasn't making my monthly payments. And so like that's terrifying in and of itself. But we went into the program, all the other people that kind of came in with me, it's ladies. And some of the other problematic things were, like, as I just said, you go through the program, you start at 1, you bring your homework to a call, you get permission to go to step 2. And you might be thinking, that's crazy. You can do what you want. You'd think so. But I literally watched this woman yell at another girl and accused her of jumping ahead in front of all of us on a group call. She called this girl out. You're going ahead. You're on class 4. You're supposed to be in class 2. What are you doing? No one told you were allowed to do that. Like, you're not listening to me. Just freaked out, berated this girl, made her cry. We're all sitting there, jaws on the floor, like, oh my goodness, this is so mortifying for this poor girl. Meanwhile, this coach is taking 5 figures from us. She barely shows up because she has this big team of program coaches, so she never comes. She comes once every couple of weeks. I love hot seat style coaching, but she would make us apply with our questions for the hot seat calls like a month in advance. And then we would have our fingers crossed that she would maybe give us 5 minutes of her time on these calls. And so one of the times, her husband, because he also was involved, her husband comes to the call and he's coaching us. He pulls up my question. He decides to start berating me, saying that I went ahead, which I never, absolutely would never. Like I said, teacher's pet, I would never. So he's arguing with me and wouldn't even help me with what I was dealing with. So like, it was so messy. But then, in my opinion, and I'm sure her perspective would be different, in my opinion, she started to get threatened of me. And I'm not saying this to like be braggy or like toot my own horn. I quickly became very well known in that kind of circle and the people that she was regularly bringing in. There was like a couple hundred people every couple of weeks doing this 3-week challenge, which was step 1 of her funnel. And so she decided that she was going to bring on a bunch of us who had been, around for a while as independent contractor program coaches, where people could upgrade out of their challenge. It was $47 for the 3 weeks. They could upgrade for $97 and get 1 call a week with myself or 5 of the other ladies that were chosen for 20 minutes. Okay. And we were compensated for that. But were we? Not really. Let me explain. These people paid $47. Then they paid another $97 to talk to us. We got paid $30, but only if the person came to all 3 of their 20-minute calls with us. If they no-showed us, we were not paid, or maybe we were paid like $10 instead. And so by the time you actually have the call with the person and like they think that you're close, you know, the person that's buying this, they think that you're close, you're friends, they're messaging us constantly. Like hours was going into this independent contractor thing. But we were, when you actually worked it out, we were not making any money on this, obviously. But then on top of that, once we decided to do that, to be these independent contractors that couldn't pick our own prices, we also were not allowed to run our businesses. So, you know, I joined thinking, okay, I'm going to use this for my finance business. After a while, I was like, ooh, maybe I want to be a coach. Like everyone was telling me to be a coach. I'm really good at this. I could be a business coach. I could be a social media and marketing and sales coach, like branding, all of these things. She decides to tell us that we're not allowed to take on any clients outside of this because she didn't want the people in that circle to hire us, these independent contractors. And so at one point, someone had reached out to me multiple times trying to hire me, and I kept having to say no. And then finally I asked the woman, I was like, listen, this person, you know, she found me through your challenge. She's not in the challenge anymore. She's never bought anything else with you. She doesn't want to buy anything else with you, but she does want to work with me privately. Can I take her? You would not believe the Voxer message that I received, voice message. There's a woman's yelling at me saying that I'm making her the bad guy and putting her in a bad position because she's going to tell me no. So that was fine. That was insane. That was completely insane. The other problems included the way she was teaching us, you know, the business model she was teaching us was also create a 21-day challenge, a 3-week challenge, sell it for $47, run ads to it. I'll tell you why that's problematic in a second. Upsell those people into a $997 12-week program that they get lifetime access to, and then host an event, and then upsell everyone that comes to the event into a multiple five-figure year-long coaching package. The problem was she made us believe that that was how she got her business off the ground, and that is not true. Come to find out, she actually had a profit. She was a lawyer for one, so she had money, but she was marketing. She had a marketing business already in her town, and she was extremely successful in her town. So when she started putting money into ads, she had money to put into ads, but we were expected to hire her husband for $500 a month and then give him $500 a month to quote unquote test ads for us. And at this point, we are all broke because she was marketing at people who didn't have businesses yet, spending all of her time on mindset and personal development, and then squandering us when we were running our program. So I did create a 3-week program and I did sell it. And do you know what happened to me? I was getting her feedback on my webinar, which was always on the last Thursday of the 3-week challenge because Thursdays was the best day. She tells me that I'm not allowed to pitch my $997 program on my webinar for the people that bought into my challenge because too many people that had found me through her ads were in my challenge. And so I wasn't allowed to pitch because she didn't want those people to also hire me and do my course. And so it was just so messy. It was so messy. I wasn't allowed to grow. I wasn't allowed to do anything. And come to find out, my friends, I left not long after that. It was coming up on my renewal time, and I just said, no, I have people that want to hire me, and I came here to make money. And too many of her following were also following me. So I left when it came time to renew. I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to kind of go out, spread my wings, even though she had totally sold us on this being a 3 to 5 year mentorship. I did the year and I was gone. And do you know what happened? She went live into her community and she threatened everyone in there and said that if they followed me, joined my free Facebook group, like stayed friends with me, stuck around with me in any way, shape, or form, and then they were going to be blacklisted from her community. And so out of nowhere, because I started a Facebook group, this was, oh no, it wasn't, I guess it wasn't quite 6 years ago. It would have been about 5 years ago because my Facebook group is 3.5 years. And I was with her for a year and a half-ish. So I leave, I start my own Facebook group, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing with this thing. A couple hundred people from her community, because we were Facebook friends also, immediately jump in and then immediately jump straight back out. So they were all threatened with being blacklisted. I obviously was extremely blacklisted, but what I come to find out was that the other 5 independent contractor program coaches were then forced to sign a do not compete that stated that if and when they left the Unstoppable Influence community, they were not to conduct any sort of business for 1 year. A year. And I mean, I feel like she should know better as a lawyer. You can't do that to people. You cannot do that to people. Everyone was in completely different niches, what we were trying to build, than what she was doing. And so a lot of them stuck around for a really long time, which is crazy to me. Apparently within the last year, I think all of them that I had done it with years ago finally left and then could not even start their businesses, which is what we all hired her for in the first place. Help me start my business. And these poor women still unable to start their businesses for a whole year, which that doesn't hold up. It maybe would hold up where she lives. But we were like, I'm in Canada. She was in the States. Everyone's all over different states. So she should have known that those contracts would not hold up in the different states that all of these coaches were in. But, they wouldn't fight her on it. They were too scared, as far as I know, and they waited the 12 months before actually starting their business. So just look at all that money and time wasted that especially these other women that found themselves completely just screwed, just completely screwed over. And so that was my experience. It wasn't great. I learned a lot about what I don't want my business to look like. I learned a lot about what I don't want to be perceived at. I don't even know if she's still going. I'm sure she is, but I don't know what's going on over there. And it doesn't really matter. But it's stuff like this where you're sitting there, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. This person has positioned themselves, and you can have a crew, a mass of raving fans who love you and think the sun shines out your ass, and still not conduct your business in the way that mimics a cult. It's possible. I'm sure it's possible, but there are lots and lots of shady practices happening out here, happening in these entrepreneurial streets. And I'm going to shine some light on some of them. Like I said, over the next couple of weeks, we're going to tell stories. So there's backstabbing, there's shady behavior, and the important thing, friends, is that there are still really good business coaches out there. There are still people out there who are soul led and love their audiences and love their clients and truly want them to be successful, who understand them, who know their spouses and their kids, and when someone's sick and they're sending flowers, and they love the people and they don't look at them like another number, another vanity metric, another ATM machine that they can just swipe their little card and get money from. And there's just so much about it. So I'm gonna shine some lights. I'm not going to be very popular, I'm sure, as I do this, but there are no standards right now in this industry. And there's lots of little to no integrity happening. And I want to be able to show you how to use discernment when you are investing. Okay? So that's episode 1. Join me next week for more. We're going to talk more. Like I said, I've got some stories. I've got stories that aren't mine, and I'm going to share them anonymously because I think that that's important. And just some of my thoughts. So I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. I'll see y'all next week.